Welcome to this preview video on swing trading covered calls for Much More Cash Flow course. This is a video home study course you can purchase by scrolling below or coming to slingshotoptions.com. That's slingshotoptions.com if you're not here already. So what's this about? Swing trading covered calls? Well, have you ever thought of the concept of swing trading a covered call? Well, I want to introduce to you this concept. This covered calls has been very popularized over the past couple decades, and I don't know, it doesn't seem as popular as before, and rightfully so. Why is that? Because really, on its own, covered call selling is a pretty lame strategy. I mean, what do? Well, you just kind of sell this call and hopefully that you just collect the money and your stock just stays the same. So because you don't want your stock to go down and you don't want your stock to go up past your strike because then it will get called out. So it's just kind of it's become a big mess. So there have been different covered call teachers over time. There may be someone who had a smart strategy out there at one point, but I just didn't run into them. But I've seen a lot of very mediocre concepts out there. And of course you have a lot of people out there pitching option strategies as if they're some, magic type of thing on their own. They're not. Option strategies, if you just put on option strategies, are going to lose you money versus making you money. Just kind of throw on a covered call, throw on a butterfly, just kind of put one on. They're not going to make you money on their own. They have to be coordinated with if a price event on a price chart. I mean, I coordinate with price events in the price chart because, what else are you going to go by? Well, you can go by your intuition if it's highly tuned in, but that's a full-time job almost, trying to tune in with the marketplace all the time with your intuition. Otherwise, if you wing it, trade emotionally, you're just going to lose. Sorry. I mean, let me just cut to the chase on that. You may get lucky, and probably the worst thing for you to do is get lucky off of an emotional trading decision, because then you'll think it works somewhere deep down. You'll keep trying it. Then eventually it's going to catch up to you, and pretty quickly it's going to catch up to you, and you're going to lose really big and really fast. All right. So we want to strategize, mostly systematize covered call selling. We want to bring covered call selling into a very methodical method, right? And one of the best ways to coordinate with a covered call is to swing trade it. So we're going to go over this concept and look at different approaches in this course on how to optimize. Even if you haven't bought stocks yet, you'll want to understand this concept of when to buy stock, when to not sell a covered call, when to sell a covered call. So through this course, you're going to get a picture on how to start developing your own swing trading strategy or system for covered calls. Now, I'm a big fan of covered calls when done right. I usually say covered calls are lame and they don't work on their own, which is true. So I fixed them. All right. So I have other really good covered call courses and strategies and systems and an overall covered call cash flow retirement plan course, which is really, really good, that we all should be working on, just growing. Even if you start from 100 shares, even it's a great thing to get started right away. But that's outside the realm of this course. You can find more about this on Slingshot Options or OptionsTradingAuthority.com. I think we're going to launch a new covered call site, coveredcallsmastery.com. I haven't put that up yet, but we'll see what happens. So this course is going to give you a better angle at selling covered calls, because if you think about it, real estate, okay, it requires a lot of money, and the cash flow in comparison to selling a covered call is, the way I look to sell covered calls is, it can be good, depends on what you do. If you own 10, 20 properties with no mortgage, that could, with professional management, that's a traditionally very solid, great concept for investing. But of course, you have these properties aren't static; they decay, right? You have to upkeep them. You get bad tenants that mess things up. You got to go replace it, and so on and so forth. So, but I don't mean to put down real estate, because I think real estate can be really great if you do that right. Now, with covered call selling, right? We, of course, well, I shouldn't say of course, but we don't want to use margin, all right? And just like in real estate, you get into mortgages, well, you can get into a lot of trouble. So, anyways, that's another whole concept, but it is related. So we want to have this rental type of income. Now with the concept of riding a price swing, well, we have more than just a monthly paycheck from rent versus real estate. We can get 4 monthly paychecks, all right? And so now, granted, when you are in a very strong uptrend, you usually don't have very big opportunities to sell calls, do you? Okay, but what's great is to actually know you're in a strong uptrend, and so we'll talk about that. So that's very huge, all right? Because if you're going to actually sell a call into an uptrend, well, you can. But probably you're going to want to go on the micro level. We're going to talk about micro swing trading covered calls, because that can be absolutely fantastic, especially when you're talking about collecting a weekly paycheck with these weekly options. There's a lot of opportunity there. So, you don't necessarily need to have the big swings. You just need to know when to pinpoint precision, go grab certain opportunities, or even take advantage of these last 1 to 2 day low-hanging fruit opportunities. Taking that juicy premium that just is sitting there on a weekly option, and that could be great too once you develop a strategy to address that. Now, this is not a system or a particular strategy, but this is about a strategic approach. Now, out of this strategic approach, you will be able to get a better picture on how to refine an approach for covered call selling, because really, if I could give you a goal, it would be to start growing a covered call account now and grow your covered call account to maybe, let's just say 40,000 shares. How about that? Of, few different stocks. When you get the retirement portfolio system, this covered call retirement portfolio system that I have here for you, but it's not in this course, but it's on Options Trading Authority, or I forgot where we're putting that actually. But so you can contact us for it. But with that method, you're going to be making. It doesn't matter what direction the market's doing, if it's in a consolidation spasm, if it's like a triangle pinch, if it's in a channeling scenario, side, up, down channels or trends, great. If it's tanking, great. Okay, it's time to make some fortune. It's a super amplified money machine with a plan for every direction. But anyways, let's get back to this course. To give you this goal, 40,000 shares. So if you have 40,000 shares, and let's just say you're maybe just using lower price stocks, even lower price solid stocks, maybe even some good old, if you call them blue chips, still old companies split a bunch of times. Super solid companies like Intel and Microsoft, and almost said Dell, but they're not there anymore. But these types of solid companies, General Electric maybe. Anyways, there's a big list of those, those. And you can just start buying shares and still cover calls. Well, what if you, through weekly options, hitting the swings, just even swings within a month. What if you were able to, even on those stocks, right, what were you if you were able to generate 2 points of premium? Okay, and that's with swing trading now. All right, if you're just selling the out of the money premium, well, on those kind of stocks, I don't think you'll be able to get that. But with swing trading, you can. So 40,000. Okay, let's just say you average 2 points a month. All right, so 40,000 shares. Well, let's look at it this way. Okay, if you have 1,000 shares, how many contracts does it take to control 1,000 shares? 10, right? So 10 times 40. Okay, so 400 contracts times 2. Okay, so and it's $10 a contract. I think I'm probably confusing you this way. So 80,000. So let's look at this way. If you have 10 contracts and you make one option point, how much do you make? You make $1,000, right? Okay, so $1,000 and on 1 point. But now you have 40,000 shares, okay, off of 1 point. So times 40 of these 1,000 share units. So you make $40,000 if you made 1 point per month, right? But we made 2. So now we're looking at $80,000 of profit for your monthly paycheck. All right, so that's pretty good. So let's look at it times 12. So almost $1 million a year. Now, granted, you're making $1 million a year. Of course, depends on what type of account you have and such. But, let's just say you had to pay taxes. So you pay taxes on it. But so then from there, guess what you can do with a lot of that money? Hopefully you don't spend it all, right? You can buy more shares. And so you can compound that way. Let's say you take a certain chunk out for spending, another chunk out for, or leave the other rest of it in there for adding to the account. So, hey, that's pretty good. So you want to develop a very solid swing trading approach so you can net out. What I mean by net to is by you have revenues and costs. So what are your revenues? Those are your winning trades. Your costs are your losing trades. So the netting out is that difference. All right. So that's how you make money in trading. You net out a profit. You don't try to keep chasing 100% winning and never go anywhere. Okay, so that's pretty exciting. But these are the concepts, in order to make big money, you got to strategize. You got to have an overall strategy. And I'm not talking about an entry and exit strategy right now. I'm talking about a plan, especially with money and wealth. You have to develop an overall plan and then with a goal, have some sort of starting goal and then reverse engineer. That's the way to do it. And you have to, with wealth building, you have to get started now and build methodically, step by step over time. Otherwise, you wait and you wait for something to do it all at once, some scenario, whereas you look to make it all happen all at once and you just waiting for the big thing. Well, it just doesn't work well that way. A lot of people I've seen, waste a lot of time in life just waiting for the big thing, whereas they should have been doing the methodical step by step to get there. So why don't we all change our minds and start finding some big goals that we can go after and start to break those down into step-by-step components and then just get started going towards those goals. And I think a covered call portfolio account could be a great goal, especially for a retirement. So think ahead and let's get to work on it. Actually you can start seeing the benefits from it, pretty soon as well. So that's about it. Thanks.